So I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys have kids that you want to be healthy and safe. And today we've got a product that helps out with both of those. It's pretty damn tasty to go with it. Rive's Kid Gummies Multivitamin. It's no secret that the standard diet for children these days absolutely sucks in America. You might be able to control their breakfast, but the second you send them off to school, they're getting pizza sticks with cheese substitute, no micronutrients, and absolutely no protein. I'm not going to get on some sort of soapbox here and talk all about the diet for children. If you are interested in that kind of stuff, Mike has a few great videos diving into what happens to a kid's body when you feed them pure sugar with no protein to go with it. I'll also talk about saturated fats and meat and all that stuff. I'm not going to touch on that, but I will touch on the sources of nutrients in Revive's Kid Multivitamin Gummies. Now, Revive makes some great quality stuff, and I really like that they're starting to pivot towards other facets of their consumers' lives. Obviously, a lot of them will have children, and they care about them. They want them to be healthy. Your standard Flintstone multivitamin just sucks. Let's be real about it. Revive has put together a tasty multivitamin that puts together some great sources of nutrients that are going to help out your kid with focus, with health, immunity, all sorts of stuff that we want them to have. And honestly, they taste pretty good. Take it from me, I accidentally messed up the beginning of this video and I've now eaten 6 of these. Whatever it is that you're watching us on, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, if you haven't followed us, give us a chance. Check us out. We produce content on all sorts of supplements, fitness, nutrition, news in the space with all sorts of thought leaders and influential folk. And that's my pitch for the day. Revive Kids Gummies Multivitamin. Let's start from the top and let's talk about the different ingredients in here that'll help your kid out. So Revive kicks off things with vitamin A. It's a hefty dose here, 750 micrograms. Now this is for 2 gummies, and that depends on the age of the child, but I'm going to go with 2 gummies here because that's for 4 plus. Really, what I'm happiest with you guys giving supplements to your kids. This is a bit of a weird gray area with giving supplements to kids. But we're going with the 2 gummies because here at PricePlow, we don't half-ass shit. We always go with the full dose. So even with kids, we're sticking to it. 750 milligrams of vitamin A helps out with a lot of different stuff. Eyesight, reproductive health, immunity, cell growth and differentiation, normal formation of organs like heart, lungs, kidneys, liver. Vitamin A is probably something your kid's not getting at their school lunch. And so it's important for them to get this in. Moving on. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is what we turn to always for immunity, right? You saw a lot of ads for it in the last year. I'm not saying that special C word, but you know what I'm talking about. Vitamin C is a potent antioxidant. We turn to it for all sorts of immunity benefits, and for good reason. It does a lot for us. It enhances microbial removal with phagocytic activity. It's needed for apoptosis, scheduled cell death. So cells that are on their way out, it helps get rid of them and make room for new growth. It enhances proliferation of T cells and B cells. Very important components of our immune systems. Decreases the likelihood of pathogens entering cells. And like I said before, it's a powerful antioxidant, so it protects the body against oxidative stress, something that we see in all different lifestyles coming from all different sources. And it's important for kids that are in schools with extra bright lights, around dirty food, other kids that may not be very healthy. This is an ingredient that you want your kids to be taking in. Now, unfortunately, it took a massive widespread deficiency for us to find out how helpful vitamin C is for kids. You're deficient in vitamin C, it opens you up very badly to infections, and it's not something you really want your kid to be in the state of when they're going into largely populated lunchrooms and gym classes. And vitamin D is one of those things where you always hear, yeah, just go outside and just get your vitamin D from the sun. It's not that easy unless you're outside for like 30 minutes a day straight, shirtless, getting direct sunlight on your skin, which, if you have a kid, they might like to take their clothes off, but most kids are not outside sunning themselves enough. Vitamin D is really important for a lot of different things. Again, the deficiency of it can lead to some kind of nasty effects. We got 1.5 micrograms in it here, which is a little less than the normal 2 that we see. We switched over from international units to micrograms recently with the FDA's new rulings on it, so it's going to look a little bit different for a while, but this is a pretty great dose. Deficiencies of vitamin D can lead to a lot of different things, but mood benefits are one of the ones that I'm really thinking about for kids. I think we do see a large instances of kids with depression, mood, anxiety, stuff like that. And I know that I feel in a much better place when I'm taking my vitamin D regularly. So I can only imagine how much it would help out a normal kid. Vitamin E next is really important for skin health because it's a powerful antioxidant, but it's also really great for eye health as well. And as your kids are growing up, you want to make sure that not only their skin health great, but their eye health is great so they can see for the rest of their lives. I remember I started wearing glasses in, I think, 3rd grade. So you want to make sure that your kids are developing their eye health healthily as they're growing up. Vitamin E is an important part of that. Now we have 15 milligrams of it in here, which also can help out with muscular health. You want your kids to be growing up big and strong, right? That's the phrase. Well, vitamin E is going to help out with that. You got to make sure you're getting in there because they're probably not getting it from their diet very well. And here's where we jump into the B vitamins. B vitamins are, obviously very well known. First one's going to be B5. We've got pyridoxine hydrochloride here. Now, 700 micrograms, got a pretty hefty dose. This is water soluble, so if your kids are getting B vitamins from anywhere else, the stuff will just pass through them in their urine. It's not a big deal. I would be remiss if I didn't note that pyridoxine hydrochloride isn't the greatest form of B6. I'm assuming it has something to do with the gummy version or the cost. Obviously, with kids, we don't need to be supplementing them like they're going to be the next Mr. Olympia. Pyridoxine hydrochloride isn't the worst thing in the world. There are plenty of supplements that use it. We'd like to see P5P, but however, maybe your kids start growing up quick and they get into athletics, we can switch them over to a multivitamin that has all of the necessary things for athletes. We can talk about it from there. From here, we're really just worried about baseline health, which B6 is really going to help a lot with what they're doing in this point in their life because it helps form neurotransmitters for them, help out with learning, memory, and brain-derived neurotropic factor, which helps out with focus. Now, folic acid, this next ingredient here, is actually going to help out a lot with B6. Got 500 micrograms here, which leads to be 250 micrograms of folic acid. This ingredient, alongside B6 and B12, helps regulate homocysteine levels in the blood, which is a pretty decent marker of heart disease and conditions. So obviously, when you have a kid, you want to set them up for success in their life. Higher levels of this folate are going to help mitigate risks of those things later on in life. So make sure they're taking in these kinds of supplements to make sure they have a good baseline as they're growing up. Biotin follows that 60 micrograms. Obviously, you guys know biotin is great for health. But what you might not know is how helpful it is for the creation of carboxylases. In the case of biotin, these carboxylases are really important for mitochondrial health, actually. At least one of the ones that it helps work out with is going to be the metabolism of fat. Other ones help out with glucose conversion in the liver, kidney, and other organ tissues. And lastly, with leucine breakdown and absorption, which is going to be helpful for muscle tissue creation for kids. So it's more than just hair, skin, and nails. It helps out with a lot of different functions in the body for health. Definitely is a necessary nutrient for kids growing up. Now, the last B vitamin here, B5, is really helpful with the production of red blood cells. 5 milligrams here of B5 as decalcium pantothenate. Sorry, I don't say that one out loud very often. Not only helps with the production of red blood cells, but also helps keep the digestive tract functioning properly, which, as they're growing up, digestion is going to be a huge deal to make sure they can absorb these ingredients and nutrition that they're putting into their body and utilizing correctly. We can't state enough how much digestive health matters. So we're out of the B vitamins and we're into some other interesting things. One that you may not immediately come to mind when you think of multivitamins, iodine. Iodine is really helpful for thyroid health, but it does have some other benefits as well, especially for kids. You see a lot of older folk with hypothyroidism, and so you don't want to set your kid up to be running into a situation like that later in life. Iodine helps out with all sorts of things thyroid related, including metabolism, cognitive decline, slow heart rate, and symptoms like fatigue, which obviously you don't want your kid to have in school when they're supposed to be learning. Now, rounding out on the end here, one thing that I noticed, they use zinc as citrate. Zinc oxide is the normal version we see in multivitamins, which is just a trash version. So we're happy to see them using zinc citrate at 10 milligrams. Zinc has a ton of different benefits. Some people see it as a sleep aid because you see ZMA a lot for sleep. But really what I'm thinking here is respiratory tract infections. Zinc helps out a lot with that. And if your kid's going off to school, again, I'm not going to say the word from last year, but we are concerned with immunity in some ways, right? And these last two ingredients are ones that I was happy to see in here. Like I've mentioned before, you have kids going off to school and they should be learning. Choline bitartrate, serving choline. You get 10 milligrams of choline. It is 45% of choline bitartrate, I believe. Now, for adults who are looking for cognitive improvements, we see like 300 to 1,000 milligrams of this. However, for a kid, obviously you don't need the same dosage. Choline helps form acetylcholine, which is the learning transmitter, which is the learning neurotransmitter. And we're really excited to have this for kids. It's important for them to have these when they're growing and learning, whether they're in school or playing outside, learning about themselves and nature. This is an important nutrient for kids to be getting in their lives. Most often you see choline in meats and egg yolks, which I bet it's probably tough to get your kids to eat, but they should be eating a bunch of. Make sure that they're getting the supplement in to make sure they're actually filling out these needs. Lastly, we got inositol, which again is going to help out with brain health in a couple different ways. We see this added to New Level from Nutrition 21, which is a very important focus and learning ingredient. So inositol is something that I was excited to see at the bottom here. We got 10 micrograms of it. Now, this can help with maintaining cell activity, but I'm really interested in the neurotransmitter portions of this. Low levels of inositol have been linked to depression because it increases neurotransmitter activity. Ingestion of it can lead to production of dopamine and serotonin, all sorts of things that your kids should be getting early on to set them up for success in life. It is a sugar, but, it's also going to help make this taste a little better. It's a brain-boosting sugar, and we're happy to see it in here, part of a Kids Multivitamin. And that's the whole formula. Pretty simple, not a lot of crazy stuff in here, just a good baseline product for a kid to be getting in to make sure that he or she has the necessary nutrients to learn, grow, and establish a great health baseline for later in life. I do have to say we got this bottle for free. I don't have a kid, so I'm probably going to end up eating these myself, but we have a business affiliate relationship with Revive. I love the stuff that they're making. I love the way that they're moving into other parts of their consumers' lives and helping them feel healthier and safer, and their kids the same. I do want to note on the back here, it says third-party tested, which is really, really big. They actually do test these after production, not their manufacturing. They test them to make sure that they are meeting label claim, which is really important. If you're purchasing these ingredients to help out your children, that's even more, I don't know. You want to make sure you're doing the right thing when you're doing that. It's not about gains. It's about your kids' health. I really appreciate the bounds above and beyond where they go to make sure that their products are meeting label claim and taking care of kids. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I do check the comments. I'd love to talk to you about Revive, these products, or anything in general. As always, guys, I really appreciate making this far in the video, and have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.